So I wanted to share with you some of the things that gave me anxiety this week. A little more anxiety than what I normally live with. One of which is called subtle foreshadowing. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that means? It is a social media trend where people basically post their video fails or just quirky, funny, accidental type videos, and they edit it in such a way where it kind of gives you the end throughout the middle of the video. So it's like if I'm talking and then something happens, but I put the very end of the video throughout the clip, so it's kind of like this little jump scare. Honestly, not my favorite thing, but it seems to be trending and I kind of want to talk about it. And I want to show you some of the viral videos that have been posted and edited in a way that's called subtle foreshadowing. And a couple of other things that give me anxiety. Are you like that? I'm like that. Oh, I was trying to stop this from falling. Anywho, welcome to my channel, Just Angelica J. I'm Angelica. So in this video, I'm going to post this up there. So apparently she's trying to get, she's trying to do the Starbucks order. And throughout the video, as you can see, I'm just going to let it play.
Ice caramel. Would you like to order an ice?
Do you see what I mean? It's like, it's literally like little jump scares. And then the end of this, obviously, for those of you wondering what's going on, she's trying to take the Starbucks order in the rain and lightning strikes very close to her. Actually, this video right here, this one I think is what set the whole subtle foreshadowing in motion. This lovely woman with this beautiful red dress, and it's literally walking down the stairs fail. But do you see the edit? So yeah, subtle foreshadowing. Again, not super subtle. You just never know what's gonna like hit and go viral on social media.
Okay, so what do I do?
And this one with the spider, I think that's all of us. This is literally me with any bug, large, small, spider, gnat. It's literally me. Okay, and check this one out. I have actually seen this guy. I believe he has YouTube videos, but he's always doing these like rubber band challenges, and you already know how this one's gonna go. And actually, I'm gonna show you this other one. And some of these are pretty obvious, but like I said, the subtle foreshadowing, I feel like is the editing technique, and I just don't like it. I don't know who like edited or thought of editing videos this way, but you know, it could be a way to keep people engaged throughout the video, because you know, that is important, engagement, right? Okay, let me tell you about the second thing that just, and I've heard of it before, but for some reason, videos came across my feed or my For You page or recommended page this week. Ball lightning. Have you heard of this? I have heard of it, and the further I dig into it, the more I realize that there's not like this one specific thing to truly say what it is, and actually there's theories. But the more I dig on it, there's not like this just pinpointed, solidified like definition. Okay, so before I show you the video that I feel visually represents my idea of what ball lightning should be, by the way, it is a fake. I discovered that the video that I'm going to show is not a real video, but I just feel like it is a good visual representation of what I imagine ball lightning to be should I come upon ball lightning. By the way, don't touch it if you ever do. Don't touch ball lightning. Don't come in contact with it. I have read that sometimes it just kind of disappears and sometimes it explodes. Well, by the way, I've been thinking about this for days. This is why I look like this. I read here, and I'm going to read it to you, the earliest, I guess, record of or reference to ball lightning came from Gervase of Canterbury, an English monk, contains what is possibly the earliest known reference to ball lightning. It is dated June 7th, 1195. He goes on to state, a marvelous sign descended near London, consisting of a dense, dark cloud emitting a white substance that grew into a spherical shape under the cloud, from which a fiery globe fell towards the river. A physicist that goes by the name of Professor Brian Tanner and a historian, Giles Gasper of Durham University, both identified the chronicle entry as probably describing ball lightning and noted its similarity to other accounts. And yes, historically there are other accounts or references to ball lightning. But again, there's so many theories surrounding it. Honestly, maybe there is actual unedited or non-CGI, non-AI type videos of ball lightning. I have yet to find one that truly is like a clear visual representation of ball lightning, which I imagine in my head. I have never seen it in real life, but here you go. Here's the video, but it is fake. Okay. Some studies or theories have said that when lightning strikes soil, if that soil contains a lot of silicone, that the silicone kind of gets trapped in this ball of electrical charge. It's kind of like a plasma type thing, and that's what kind of shapes the ball lightning. Again, this is a theory, but some people who have researched this actually kind of back that theory, that it makes sense. Again, the more I look into it and read articles, people are still just theorizing about this. But theory, no theory, a definitive explanation, I don't care. It is scary. That video where it's just like traveling through someone's home, what? And let's just say it's in your house. Let's say ball lightning is in your home right now. How do you shoo it out? Does it just, because let's say, they did say that ball lightning can dissipate or go away silently or explosive. So if it's floating in your house and just going around room to room, do you sit in your house and wait for it to explode? This has me literally pressed this week. I'm like, wait a minute. And as someone that lives in an area that always gets storms, I'm going, please don't let me be one of the people that experiences ball lightning. Never. No, never. But literally, ball lightning looks like a nightmare because you just don't know what you're going to get. Apparently, it is explosive when it goes away, or it goes away silently, but you don't know. So here's the other thing that I discovered this week. And I know for those of you that like crime stories, so imagine this. You're a professional skydiver. You skydive all the time, but you were gifted this free little skydiving session. So you've got your gear. Again, you're pro at this. And you hop out of the plane and flying in the air. And for a lot of people who are thrill seekers or just love skydiving or things of that nature in general, it's very exhilarating. Sometimes for people, it's very serene. It's just this experience that you truly love. By the way, I do not. I one time did those indoor skydiving things with my sister and brother-in-law. That was enough for me. I don't want to experience this coming out of a plane. It's nothing that interests me. But for those of you that like that type of thing, I get it. So just imagine you're a pro at this. You're free falling to earth. Uh-oh, it's time to pull your parachute. And guess what? The main parachute doesn't work. No worries, because most skydiving gear has the reserve parachute, the emergency one. You pull the cord and it doesn't work. So at this point, you are 4,000 feet above Earth, free falling, technically at this point plummeting to your death, going 60 miles an hour down to Earth with no parachute. What are you going to do? I'm going to panic. No, I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be on the plane skydiving, but what are you going to do? So for one woman, her survival instincts kick in and she's just trying to figure out, how am I going to survive a 4,000 foot fall going at 60 miles per hour? She's plummeting to earth. Even the people that are looking at her, watching this happen, they are horrified, and one person is on record saying that they actually grabbed a body bag because they said they know how this is going to end. This is not something she is going to survive. This woman is literally falling to earth, and she hits the ground. People run over there to her. Again, body bag is ready because there's just no way she's going to survive this, right? Wrong, because she actually does. But no, 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 no. If that isn't just scary, tragic, and wow. So she gets to the hospital. She does sustain life-threatening injuries. I think she had broken bones or just internal injuries, broken pelvic bone. So she definitely sustained major injuries, but she did survive. At the time of this incident, the skydiving company, which is where she was skydiving, investigates her gear because at this point, it could have been very, very, very tragic. She could have lost her life. So they're scratching their heads going, what happened? Because she's a professional at this and they've done this plenty of times. So quickly they investigate her parachute to see what happened. It is common for gear to malfunction, but again, that's why there are reserve parachutes when the main one doesn't open. That's the whole purpose of that. Well, they discover that her parachute was tampered, like literally cut. Someone took scissors and snip, snip, cut the parachute cords. So this incident that people just thought was accidental now turns into this full-on investigation of this could have been homicide. So as the investigation is ongoing into this, the woman, whose name is Victoria, she's at home recovering, and so investigators go to talk with her. And of course, they're asking her questions. How's your life? How are things? What led you to be a skydiver? So they find all these things out about her, that she actually does this all the time. She's an active service member in the military. And by the way, this is in England. And so of course they ask her, how's your home life? How are things? And what were you doing skydiving on this particular day? Well, it turns out her husband gave her a gift, like a gift card to skydive, and she used it. But as the investigation goes on, they discover some red flags. First of all, it turns out that her relationship was already kind of like rocky. But at the time that she was skydiving, she assumed things were fine. So the investigators kind of press further. They do some digging, and lo and behold, it turns out that not only was it her husband that tampered with said parachute that failed on the skydiving, and he was the one that gave her the little gift card for skydiving, it turns out that he was essentially leading a double life. He was cheating on her with multiple people, and specifically two main people. His ex-wife, who he has 2 children with, and who he was married to before he married Victoria, and a new girlfriend. Apparently, even Victoria was fully aware of him having gambling debt, her finding evidence well before this incident of cheating on her. But here's where things really get kicked into high gear. So that gambling debt, he still has it. And Victoria does go on record saying that throughout her relationship with her husband, he always had these like really weak excuses of why he was short of money. Sometimes he would just go off and go missing or just leave for long periods of time. So as the investigators start, digging around, asking her more questions, they do realize she was in a very bad relationship, pretty much abusive relationship. And again, Victoria experiencing this toxic relationship with her husband, still trying to make it work, even with all those red flags, she still doesn't wrap her head around the fact that her husband was plotting to kill her. But investigators press further and realize he has this debt, and he not only is cheating with his ex-wife, but this new girlfriend that he's also cheating with, he wants to run away with her. But he has debt. So he wants to kill his current wife, Victoria, for life insurance money to pay off his debt and ride off into the sunset with someone new. Victoria is literally floored. Now, hindsight is 2020. I'm reading this story going, red flag, totally believable. But how many of you know people, or maybe you are in a toxic relationship? While you're in this toxic relationship and you love the person you're with, but it's so toxic, I don't know, unless they're physically abusive with you or have threatened death before in this relationship, if none of those things have happened, it is hard to believe that someone is going to kill you in this relationship. Now, we've seen time and time again how people will be in toxic relationships that do escalate, but that is insane that this man thought he was going to get away with tampering with a parachute and not have investigators circle back to him. There were so many signs there before she even jumped out of the plane. But again, he was probably hoping that she would pass away from the fall. And by the time they figured out what was going on, maybe he thought he could bury her, get life insurance money, and just head on out. Reading this story, and actually there's a documentary out, but I don't think it's available in the US. I have not been able to find it. But it's about a woman named Victoria Cillier, and her husband's name is Emil, and that guy is a piece of work. And ultimately, they did have him as the main suspect. They investigated him. All this stuff came out about his life and things that he was doing behind her back. Some things she was fully aware of, which is what they were working on. But when it came to plotting to murder her, run off. And the girlfriend that he was trying to run off with, she claims that he made it seem like they were divorced, that he was single. I haven't done the deep dive on it, but when I read it, instantly I'm thinking, how did she survive that fall, right? You're listening to this going, wait a minute, back it up. How did she survive that fall? I'll tell you. Well, they attribute her survival to this fall because honestly, that is miraculous. You fall 4,000 feet, like in the sky, skydiving to the ground, you're not surviving that fall. But here's what they attribute her survival, like her surviving the fall. One is that when she realized that she was in trouble because the parachute didn't deploy, she instantly thought, how could I slow myself down? So she claims that she was trying to slow herself down. And for those of you that don't know, like the physics of diving, like aerodynamics, I'm not saying this right. So for those of you that want more of an explanation aerodynamically, the tighter your body is, the faster you go. So what she was doing, which is what I learned when I did that indoor skydiving, you can kind of control yourself better when you open up your arms. So if you're like pointy, you're going to just zoom. But if you kind of open up your body and make it bigger, like more open, you can slow yourself down. Another thing investigators attribute her survival to is that she was a very small, petite woman. And so obviously, if she doesn't weigh a lot, gravity's not pulling her, as opposed to maybe me falling 4,000 feet from the sky. Yeah, Angelica would totally be toast. And another thing is that they said where she fell, it was freshly plowed dirt, like basically soft earth. So it was a lot softer than like a compacted hard ground. So that actually helped like the impact of when she fell. Like I said, she did sustain life-threatening injuries, but oh my gosh. So note to self, if you go skydiving, those are 3 things to consider, just in case you have fear of the parachute not working. By the way, you won't catch me skydiving anytime soon. Nope. If you check it out, her name is Victoria Cillier, and this happened in 2015. And the husband ultimately was found guilty, and he got a life sentence. He has to serve a minimum of 18 years. And here's another little twist to that story. So the day that she like almost plummeted to her death in that skydiving session, one of the people that literally was looking at her plummeting to earth in horror, she's now dating one of those people. And she goes on record saying that she's happy now. She's moved on. She is in a relationship. And the person that she's dating, or the person that she's in a relationship with, was there that day that she almost died from the skydiving incident. And the silver lining to this is that she feels like because he witnessed it all and he's fully aware of like the whole incident, she feels like it's kind of easy to get into a relationship with him without explaining like this messy past because he witnessed it. So there's a silver lining for her to that. But again, you can check out articles that she was interviewed in. I believe there's a YouTube video. I might link it in the description below. But yeah, 3 things that gave me anxiety this week: subtle foreshadowing trend, ball lightning, and this miraculous fall that turned into like a whole murder plot investigation. Insane. So let me know in the comment section down below if you want to hear some more like true crime stories. I have a lot of them. But yeah, and what are some things that give you anxiety that you just randomly think about? So that's the video today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.